Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain and welcome back. Now, I've had a few people come to me and start talking to me about overthinking and how they overthink stuff and how they always overthink stuff. And it's always so hard because once they start overthinking that and then they realise they're overthinking, then they start overthinking, they're overthinking, and it just spirals out of control. And so I wanted to just make this video, especially for those people that I see more regularly that come to talk to me about this. Because it's here and it's available and it's not the hardest thing to get out of doing. Yeah, I used to overthink. I still overthink to one extent or another, quite horribly. But through doing like 5 different things and just being a little bit more aware of myself and what I'm doing and not giving myself the time to overthink, I tend to get past it and I tend to not worry about it so much. Especially after I took a very big picture view of things. So we'll get onto that in a minute. But anyway, the first thing in regards to before we actually get onto the list, overthinking can be crippling. It really can. It's that analysis paralysis where you've got so much information, some of which may be real, some of which may be fake, some of which may even be completely imagined, and you're having to try and weigh it all up and make sense of it and add it all up and in a way that it fits the situation that you're dealing with, even if it has nothing to do with the situation that you're dealing with, and it just kind of spirals and grows and just becomes this big thing kind of sat on your shoulders, and it weighs you down, it causes you problems, it slows you up. You're not going to be able to achieve anything that you want to achieve whilst you're stuck like that, and that's a problem. Because if you can't achieve anything, then good chances that overthinking is just going to continue, and you're going to keep overthinking about this thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It's just going to keep going and going and going until you've got nothing left. Everything else is burned out, and you overthinking, you've missed opportunities, you've lost people, you've lost assets, and all you've got is yourself and more overthinking, which probably just leads to greater insecurity and greater upset as you go on. And so that's why these are really important things. I've talked about some of these things in other videos as well, but they're nonetheless important for this particular situation. And so the first one is you need time to reflect. You need time to sit down, take 5, relax, and just go through what's in your head. A lot of people that I've said before, a lot of people journal or keep kind of diaries of things that have happened, thoughts that they're having, ways that they can either look back on them, either as the positive things or the negative things, bit of both. And so taking that time, doesn't have to be a lot of time, 5 minutes at the beginning of each day, 5 minutes after you get home from work, before you start cooking or something like that each evening. Just go through what's kind of worrying you, have a moment to analyze and think about it. If it takes you longer than 5 minutes, then by all means. But there are some people that go for the whole, well, once I've written it all down and I've got it out of my head, then I rip it up and throw it away because then it's gone. Other people like having the reference there for like, oh, well, I thought through this thing before the other week, I'm going to go back, look it over, see how I got over it last time and remind myself of it, and so you've got those kind of areas where either just sitting down, taking 5, having a moment just to collect your thoughts and get everything straight in your head and then move forward with it, that's fine. But also, as said, sitting down, taking notes, writing out what you've got and then either getting rid of it so that it's just gone from you, or taking the time to actually go, right, this will now be the lesson. I have now got my notes from the lesson so that then moving forward I won't have to relearn it again. I can just remind myself. It works. Different things work for different people. As said, for the most part, I don't do a lot of writing down. I've got a couple of things that I use to monitor myself, but it's not on this. Quite frankly, one of my morning rituals is that when I get up and when I need to get going and when I need to wake up, like having a shower is my cup of coffee. And so, because I don't drink coffee, so as a result of that, it's like I'll have a shower, and that'll be my time for either random thoughts or for if I've got something that's bothering me, something that I need to think through, work through, then it'll be whilst I'm in the process of just kind of washing myself and getting myself ready for the day, that'll be the time that I'm thinking through stuff, because it's, again, I'm where lots of other people might write it down and throw it away. In my case, I'm washing away the sleep and the feeling from the night before, and now I'm getting ready for the rest of the day, and in doing that I'm also cleansing what's in my head. And it's finding a way that works for you, but that's kind of, those are my suggestions, kind of either writing it down and dealing with it whichever way you want, or taking the time just to sit down or focus on those thoughts for a little while and just kind of either rationalize through them or kind of put into play some of the other things that we're going to talk about now. The next thing, a lot of people call this mindfulness in a lot of ways, and I disagree with that. I would say it's living in the present, because I don't like the term mindfulness. It should either be kind of living in the present or acting deliberately, because the mindfulness as a term is potentially quite broad and nebulous, and it's not great. But kind of the idea is you've got the world in front of you. Don't worry about what happened before. Don't worry about what's happening kind of into the future. You need to focus on now. Having an element of the future in regards to where you need to go, absolutely fine, because that allows you to progress in the moment. But as I've said, in regards to my wider perspective, my larger idea of my life and where it fits in the universe, like the future in its greatest extent is the heat death of the entire universe, or the big crunch, or whatever calamity it is that wipes the slate clean. At which point nothing I'm really doing has any real weight to it that's going to be everlasting, and a lot of that stuff is going to happen so far outside of my lifetime, even though I'd much prefer to see as much of the universe and as much of everything as life can offer. It's going to be so far outside of my lifetime that it's not worth worrying about. Right, so the future isn't worth worrying about. And the past, well, the past has already happened. It's immutable, as far as we are aware. And so as a result, there's still nothing I can do about that either. I can cope with the fallout, and I can prepare for the things that I want. That's all I can do. And it's that acting in the present and not worrying about the stuff that's gone before, because it's beyond your control completely, and not worrying too far into the future, because again, you can't see the future. You can't read people's minds or plan out their actions on their behalf. And so as a result, you need to make sure that all focuses down on just sitting in the present, of being aware of that environment that you're in and how you can operate. Yeah, it's what coaching is, where things like counselors and therapists will focus on what's happened to you in the past to help you prepare for kind of the now, to help you operate in the now, and where a consultant or a mentor will look at where you want to go and then try and push you to get there. A coach will sit you down and sit you in the moment. What can you do now, based on everything else that you know about your life? What can you do now to get what you want now, or as close to now as possible? Yeah, you're not looking at kind of achieving hugely and having people pull you there. You're not looking at eradicating and handling the past. You're looking at working from the present into the next present. And that's one of the reasons why I think coaching works particularly well, because it works well with preventing you from overthinking. It works well with allowing you to focus on these individual small moments, moment-to-moment changes and moment-to-moment challenges that then allow you to achieve more overall. But speaking of tackling problems and things, the next thing you need is, a lot of people overthink only when it's a problem. Yeah, whether it's a problem with a person, whereby they're probably trying to read that person's mind and not doing a very good job, or whether it's to do with these various events that could turn into something of all sorts, but you can't see the future, so why worry about it? Just continue. Active problem solving, going out, and if there's a problem, don't let yourself overthink it. Don't let yourself worry about it. You need to, if there's a thing, if there's an obstacle, a problem, a challenge, deal with it now. Tackle it now. Get over it now. Why? Because the more you overthink, the more you worry about it, the more you get upset about it, the more you just sit there and dwell, going, oh my God, it's a thing that I need to do. It's not going anywhere. It's going to sit there and continue to torment you and poke at you and annoy you and upset you and all of those other things, anger you, whatever, is going to continue to do that for the entire time that you are dealing with it. So if you've got a problem, identify it and solve it. It might be hard work. It might be really, really demoralizing. It might be a real tough thing to get done. But this is where kind of having a good understanding of it will help you then build a support system around it as a scaffolding, be it a support system of tools and equipment and resources, or be it people. It'll allow you to do that if you know what it is and that you just want to go and do it more. And then the last one is communication, and this is a not a huge one, but communicating your thoughts more is incredibly important. Be it in communicating them through, as said, actually just putting it down on paper so that it's there and it's gone and you've communicated out to basically no one, or in terms of communicating it to other people. Other people allow us perspective. And this is one of the reasons why I started this channel, why I talk about some of the things that I do that aren't purely coaching based, or why I start doing things in games and talking about the news and whatever else. Because as a coach, my goal is to raise awareness. And it could be awareness of anything, but it's mostly awareness of you. And for me, it's awareness of myself. It should always be a raising of awarenesses within the individual. Be it self-awareness, be it awareness of their situations, be it awareness of their values and their beliefs and the things that make them tick. It should always be that. But the only way that you can learn those things is by bringing those things to other people. Because whilst you shouldn't compare against other people, the only individuals and the only sounding kind of posts that you've got that you can go and interact with and gain a perspective on a situation that is similar to yours, and who you can maybe help through their problems and then learn to help you through your own. Those are just the other people around you. There's no two ways around it. You have to tackle those people. You have to communicate with those people, and it can help bring these things out. And when you're talking to someone else about it, it can sound silly. The things that you've said in your head sound ridiculous when you start talking to another person about them, and all of a sudden, the kind of cage that you've been locked in just kind of opens the door, because the key was in there with you the whole time, but you weren't kind of passing it outside of the cage so that the door could be opened. It's one of those things which can be really hard, especially if you've been overthinking and dwelling on something for a long time and you've become very anxious about it, very upset about it. It can cause an awful lot of difficulty in speaking to friends and family and the people that you would usually regard as those that you should talk to. But this is why therapists exist. This is why coaches exist. We're non-judgmental sounding posts to help you raise that awareness, to help you get you through those problems. And so going and talking to a coach, going and engaging one, going and inquiring about whether or not they can offer their services to you and how they would do that, it's all worth doing. One of the things that was said time and time again throughout the time that I was training as a coach was that everyone should have a coach. Yeah, even a coach in theory should have a coach or a mentor or someone else that they can bounce off of. Why? Because when you're often too close to your own problems to see them properly. A heart surgeon can't do open heart surgery on himself, and so you need to have that person there to bounce stuff off and to work with you. You can find that in friends, but friends tend to be invested in you in a way that they will judge you, or in a way that they have their own interests in mind. But someone who's a coach, someone who's outside of that, they tend not to have those inclinations, and you can make a friend of those people, but they will for the most part, as far as I would be concerned at any rate, they will maintain that level of professionalism and not allow even a friendship and a familiarity to block the thing that you are paying them to do, or block the thing that is incredibly important to them. You know, I frustrate people sometimes because I don't take off the coaching hat, because I look for them to communicate with me more around the things that they're worried about, and then I can raise the awareness and help them. That's why communication is such a key and core and an important thing to not overthinking, because you can write all of your thoughts down. You can keep the big picture kind of perspective on things in terms of kind of living in the moment and how now is what matters. And you can actively attack every problem that you have. But when it comes to it, if you're still attacking those problems but with wrong information or with a slanted view on it, or if your version of the big picture misses some really big things that means that your moment that you're trying to live in is a little bit too big, or you know, if you're writing stuff down but you're not doing it, you know, you're not really thinking it through as you're doing it, you're just doing it because you think it's going to help, kind of placebo kind of thing instead of actual solution, actual assistance, then you don't, you know, you by yourself, as said, you're probably too close to your own issues, to the things that you're overthinking. Those other people, especially coaches and people like that, who aren't going to judge you for what you've been bringing up, coaches and psychologists and things, they are the people who are going to be there to help you through that and raise that awareness and help you solve those problems and make sure that you're focusing on the right places as well. But anyway, as much as this has turned into more a support of coaching at the end here, all of these things are incredibly important when it comes to like not overthinking your situation, not overthinking your problems and the things that are going to hold you back. And so whether it's a relationship, be it romantic or friends or work or whatever else, be it a job thing, be it a project that you've got outside of work, be it a financial problem or anything like that, all of these things come down to these kind of 4 areas that you can touch through, and in theory you should be able to gain a bit more perspective just to help you relax more into that situation, even if it's still a tough problem to solve, even if it's still a tough problem to deal with, even if it's not a problem at all and it's still just something that's sat in the back of your head. The overthinking and the worrying about it is just going to drive you into the ground with it. Shrug it off, and these are the ways that you can best utilize to shrug that off. But anyway, guys, I hope you find this useful. As said, there have been a lot of people that have come to talk to me about overthinking and worrying about stuff recently, so you know, I hope this helps them as well if they see this. And otherwise, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.